Hello and welcome to C-Suite Middle East. Today we're speaking to Mr. Fadi Hammadeh, one of the top general counsels in the entire Middle East. He's the head general counsel for Al-Futtaim with previous experience as a general counsel for DIFC, Dubai Properties, and senior legal roles within Majid Al-Futtaim as well, just to name a few. He has an outstanding academic pedigree with a collection of 5 degrees. His LLB is from Damascus University. He has a master's in law from Paris du Assas. He has another master's from Paris and Sorbonne, another master's in law from London University, and an executive MBA, a combined program done by London School of Economics, Stern Business School, and HEC in France. Thank you so much for coming, and welcome to the show.
Pleasure.
What is, for people who don't know, what does a general counsel in a large business conglomerate do?
Well, as you've rightly said, Shane, I currently work in a family business. General counsel role in general is an important executive that supports on the legal aspect of a business. Compliance is an important factor. However, in family businesses, the role has expanded in the last decades beyond the conventional legal advice, compliance-related advice. So much of my role in the past 7 years since I joined Al-Futtaim Group has been on strategic advice, corporate governance, restructuring, succession planning, things that are very important for business continuity. But most importantly, I play an important role as a business partner.
You've really done a great job in building your career. What are your career management philosophies?
Most importantly, I believe that you have to be a great human being before being a professional. Walmart used to famously say we hire right people and teach them the right skills. So the most importantly is to hire the right people, and then you can teach them the right skills. So it's very important to be a great human being, and that I define as someone who has 3 characters. Most importantly, you need to be accountable as a human being. You cannot always shift responsibility to your team. Give them credit, but shelter them from criticism as they go through the learning process. That's very important. Number 2, you need to have humility. Nothing could be achieved without humility. Nothing could be learned without humility. So modesty is a main precursor for career advancement. And 3, and most importantly for me, is integrity. I know it's a cliche word nowadays, but most of the problems that we see, most of the economic downturns that we see are stemmed by greed. And so integrity remains an important, fundamental element of my character and personality, and I like to spread it around wherever I go.
I like your concept of accountability, and somehow, when I look at people developing themselves, the person who doesn't achieve much, they only look at accountability within themselves. People who grow then say they may take a larger accountability. I'm going to take on the responsibilities of the organization's success. Someone who grows larger says, I'm going to be accountable for my community's success, my society's success, or at a regional level. And so this grows. So in a sense, is this what you're meaning? Is thinking being greater than yourself?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Shane. That's what differentiates human. It's not their wishful list of what they would like to achieve, but really their actual execution of their ambition. And so there are people who focus on their own existence. They're very subjective. They live within their own shell. Others who focus on a group of people. Different category of people are performing within the realm of an organization, small or big. Other humans take their ambition and struggle into a society and community. And third, or last, operate at a global level. And these are the people who won Nobel Prizes and achieve great things in life. So I'm sure not all of us will achieve that level of success, but at least we can aspire to it and take effective steps and execute these steps towards achieving these objectives.
So it's not what you're doing, what skills, but how you're thinking. And as you say, the individual gets the Nobel Peace Prize is the one who's saying, how can I make a contribution to humanity?
Yes.
And the guy who struggles to get the promotion is thinking, how can I develop my, grow my career?
Right.
Which is really interesting.
And an important factor towards all that is the ability to see the big picture, Shane, yeah? You will never be able to achieve objectives beyond your immediate personal needs unless you can see the big picture and think about issues that are beyond your immediate level of interaction or daily desires or fears. You need to think globally, and the world is becoming more and more global. And that's an important element of success for any executive nowadays. Think globally.
And so part of it is, one person says, how can I get a job? Next person, so he has some level of success. Next person says, how can I get a career? Some level of success. But then there's a person who says, what's my life's work going to be? And this is what the individual says when he says, I'll make a contribution to humanity and a life's work. And I almost feel that the education system or the institutions and structures around us force you into the first box. Because in high school or grade school, they never tell you, life's work is the realm of the genius, is the realm of the, you can't write something and quote yourself. You have to quote someone else because you don't have that right. And they never if you go to your friends and say, I'm going to create a life's work, they think you're a narcissistic megalomaniac, right? So do you feel that almost the institutions and processes themselves in society are inhibiting this type of thinking, which actually is the very thinking that's going to progress society as a whole?
I agree with you. We tend to be conformist, and our society forces us in that direction. We all have that innate desire to fit within a certain culture. Now, the culture could be closed, could be open. There are all kinds of cultures around us. But I think the key thing to what you said is the ability to differentiate ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to have the self-belief and the confidence. So this is where the power from within becomes very important in terms of achieving what we believe to be our objective, our calling in life, notwithstanding what everybody says to the contrary. And that's the real difference between people who persevere and achieve their objectives and those who tend to conform and let go at the first obstacle.
This, in my mind, almost goes back to your point on accountability, because first of all, what you're saying is, hey, I'm not being successful because my self-belief's not there, my self-confidence isn't there, and you're building yourself, versus the other individual saying, I don't have the right passport, I'm not the right sex, I'm not the right, and making all the different reasons, which may, we're not saying there could be institutionalized discrimination, but whether or not the person who rises above it, the first African-American slave who became a millionaire, took the responsibility and was accountable for his success.
Absolutely.
That is what you're saying is the basis
Absolutely.
of it.
And I take the obvious example of contemporaneous figure, Barack Obama. I mean, Barack Obama, when he decided to run for President of the United States, he didn't say, no, we can't. He said, yes, we can. And it sounded like a cliche, but I think he meant it with all his heart, and he acted it, and he spoke it. And people rallied around this objective, and they supported him. It's the small people who made this big guy. It's the guys on the streets who rallied his cause because they believed in him. And there are so many examples for people who tend to persevere and stick with their objectives and achieve what they want in life.
So, in your road to the top, what have been your biggest lessons learned when you kind of look back?
Biggest lessons learned is, when you look, Shane, at our evolutionary process, humans, if you believe in Darwinism, the way we have evolved, it's nothing short of a miracle of seeing what we have achieved over the years. Having evolved merely a million years ago from our ancestors, the apes, how did we manage to differentiate ourselves from our ancestors? I think it's a single keyword which answers your question, is cooperation. What differentiates chimps from humans, for instance, is that, or even humans at our early existence, is that humans cannot operate in larger scale societies. More than 80, psychologically, more than 85 people at once. The moment when you start, when you stop being able to relate personally and subjectively to people, knowing their name and talking to them and knowing who they are, then the whole society disintegrates. And you see it in larger conversations. You know, you bring so many people around the table, and then there will be no more one conversation. Conversations will break down into many different conversations. When it comes to human evolution, the one factor that helped humans make that important step beyond the ability to form merely small communities of 85 or 100 at maximum is the ability to cooperate, the ability of completely total strangers to cooperate with each other. And that cooperation was the byproduct of belief in ideas that were bigger than the community: human liberty, equality, integrity, religious ideas, even economic values, US dollar, or political orders. So that ability to believe in fictitious ideas brought humans together. In order to get there, we have evolved or developed something that we call currently emotional intelligence. And so, long answer to short question, the most important thing for me is the ability to cooperate with others and create teams that can cooperate and share knowledge and together push in the same direction. And in order to achieve that, you need to have a certain level of emotional understanding of your own emotions and others. Your motivation and other motivation. How can you link between the two to create a cooperative environment?
Part of the bedrock of what you're talking about is imagination. So you have, you know, these ideals which are imagined. And in your career, do you need to use imagination? And some people would even argue you're using your imagination whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, the majority of people, when they wake up in the morning, are imagining negative outcomes. The news, everything we're reading is more skewed to the negative. In your opinion, to what degree should someone, and how important is imagination in career development?
It's absolutely important. Lawyers are not trained to think with their right hemisphere. And so it's the logic side that they use most of the time. I find it very important to be imaginative and to be creative at the same time, because almost always the solution to a problem, a complex problem that is thinking outside the box. And for that you need to use your imagination, your ability to be to critically analyze, sometimes using unconventional wisdom to get to a solution that is appropriate to a particular problem.
So what would your advice be to students or someone graduating who wants to pursue a career in the legal profession?
Know why you're doing law. Many of us get pushed in a certain direction because our fathers are lawyers, or we feel a certain innate desire to be human rights lawyers. It's very important to understand what our objectives are in life. The last thing you want is to get into your 30s or late 30s and then realize that I've been doing the wrong thing for the last 15 years since graduation. And that's often, unfortunately, a phenomena that we see midlife crisis, even more pronounced nowadays than before. So it's very important for those who study law, because it's a grueling curriculum to study, but most importantly, it's a very competitive work environment. And what will set a lawyer apart from the rest of the pack is, one, perseverance, two, understanding of his own or her own objectives, what is the end result that they're seeking to achieve, and most importantly, hard work. There's a lot of hard work involved in being a lawyer, being a successful lawyer.
Well, Fadi, thank you so much for coming on the show, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.